The hubs or the cleaning lady? Don't make me choose. I love my cleaning lady just a little bit more than I love the hubs. No, that's not true. I love her a lot more than I love the hubs, and I'm not afraid to tell her or him. Neither the hubs nor I is a terrific housekeeper, so our first 6 months of wedded bliss were not very blissful. We didn't have much practice in the co-homeowning cleaning routine. We spent a stupid amount of time arguing over whose turn it was to sweep the kitchen or clean the toilets. After fighting for weeks and watching our house dive bomb into a dusty death spiral, we knew we had to take action. I decided to do what my mother did when I was a kid and didn't want to clean the house. I made up a chore chart. I divided up all of the cleaning responsibilities, and every week each of us would have new jobs to do around the house. I tried to be fair. For instance, one week I'd clean the toilets and he'd mop the floors. The following week he'd clean the toilets and I'd mop the floors. I tried to spread the good jobs and the bad jobs around as evenly as possible. The chart worked for the first week, the week I was the one assigned to scrub the toilets. But of course, when the next week came and it was his turn to polish the thrones, the hubs announced he didn't like my chart. He argued that he didn't have much experience cleaning toilets or mopping floors, as if I'd put myself through college working as a janitor or something, and didn't think he'd do a very good job. Rather than do a shitty job on the toilets twice a month, he thought I should clean the toilets and mop the floors every week, while he focused on his natural talents, taking out the trash and running the vacuum on an as-needed basis. As you might imagine, that conversation didn't go very well. I think it ended with me saying to the love of my life something along the lines of, "Go fuck yourself, Hubs. I'm sorry you're such a delicate flower, but I'm not built for domesticity any more than you are." After that lively debate, we decided the chore chart was never going to work. But we had to do something. The situation was becoming desperate. The floor of our bedroom was rapidly disappearing under piles of laundry. I found myself contemplating buying new dishes just to avoid washing the ones in the sink. And I had stopped using the master bathroom because the hubs refused to take my advice to sit to pee. Our constant fighting was quickly getting out of control, and we were starting to throw around the phrase marriage counseling. I've always thought marriage counseling and renewing your vows are the kisses of death for a marriage. You rarely see a couple come through counseling unscathed. It can't be good for your marriage to sit in a drab office in the middle of a lifeless strip mall telling a stranger that cleaning toilets is a blow to your masculinity. And don't even get me started on the vow renewals. It started with celebrities. There would be an item in the tabloids hinting about trouble in paradise, and suddenly they're doing a 10-page photo spread in People magazine showcasing their romantic and inspiring vow renewals on some Hawaiian island. 6 months later, they're back on the magazine cover because, surprise, they're getting divorced. This phenomenon is now creeping down into the peasantry. I've seen several of my friends plan elaborate, bank-breaking vow renewals in the tropics. Then we find out a few months later that he's been a serial cheater since they got married. He'd promised to change his ways, and renewing their vows was supposed to make him monogamous. Long story short, you will never hear about me and the hubs renewing our vows. We're both too cheap to spring for a shindig like that when the possibility of divorce attorneys is on the horizon. We'd rather save our money so there will be more to fight over. Anywho, now you can imagine my fear when marriage counseling was suggested. I was terrified. We were only 6 months into our marriage, and already we were looking at bringing in the equivalent of hospice for our marriage. Something had to change, but what? One particular messy, angry day, it hit me like a ton of bricks. We didn't need a chore chart or marriage counseling. What we needed was a cleaning lady. When the hubs agreed to move to Kansas from New York City, one of the conditions he negotiated was a lawn service. Spending his Saturday afternoons mowing the lawn and trimming bushes sounded like a nightmare to him. Plus, he really sucked at that sort of thing. If we let him take charge, our lawn would be all crabgrass and patches of dirt. With the hubs on mower patrol, we'd never get a note from the Homeowners Association telling us our grass was too long, but we might get some notes asking us to resod the whole yard because it was such a damn pit. Having the lawn guy freed up the hub's schedule for some much-needed nap time and kept our lawn lush and beautiful. A cleaning lady could go into the same category as the lawn guy. Between the two of them, we could save our marriage. I was worried, though.